Hello, I'm here on time, completely on time. What's up, Andre? How's it going, man? Good to see you as always. Yeah, so I thought I would live stream some new releases. Just kind of talk about what I'm listening to this year, stuff that I am looking forward to listening to this year, even though it's in December now, and I've still, man, I've just barely gotten to a lot of these. So I don't know. I've listened to probably 25, 30 albums this year. Whoa. And there's probably another 25 or 30 I want to hear. I'm not necessarily going to buy all of them. Actually, I can guarantee you I'm not going to buy half of them even, but you can only buy so much stuff before it gets kind of ridiculous. What's up, Peter? Got Peter in the house from the UK, Andre in the house from Russia, Moscow. Yeah, Louis. I got Louis crying next to me here. This is a big old baby. So I'm also curious as to what you guys have been listening to. Um, Not that I need to add a bunch of new releases to my list to check out, but man, this is going to be a busy month for me as far as just trying to cram all these new releases that I haven't heard yet. Kind of like when you're in school, when you're like waiting to study for your test, the night before the night before. That's kind of what I do. I do this every single year, and also I've kind of had thoughts of like, I don't know. I'm hesitant to say this, but like I've kind of fallen off, fallen off of new releases for the last like 5 years, and like this year, I feel like I'm I don't know, all time low as far as what would you call it, motivation goes. I'm not really sure why, but maybe there just wasn't a whole lot of releases this year that I was super looking forward to, but then I haven't heard a lot of them yet. So I'm sure there's some really cool stuff I've just yet to hear. Um, Peter just been listening to Order from Chaos, Frozen in Steel box set. Holy shit! I need to look into that. I was not aware of this Order from Chaos box set. I'm a big fan of them though, so I need that. Black and Nim's channel. Hey Gordon, it's good to see you, dude. What's up, Scott? Don't jinx my my internet connection. No, I'm just kidding. Think it'll be okay. I find that I can do these streams pretty much without any trouble as long as I don't have a ton of devices connected all at the same time, which usually you do. So I kind of like will turn off the Wi-Fi on like at least half my devices if I'm not going to be using them anyways. What's up, Simon? Good to see you. Scott. No, it's unpredictable, with technology. It's what can you do? So, anyways, what have you guys been listening to this year? Does anyone have anything that like I don't want to say blowing you away, but is there anything that like what's your favorite album this year so far? I know I wouldn't be able to answer that question. I'm not good with favorites. I'm not good with like narrowing stuff down. So I do even doing a top 10 for me is almost pointless, but I still try. So some stuff that I haven't checked out this year. I wouldn't mind checking out the new Azagal, black metal from Finland. Always liked them. I'm gonna try something here. Not that this is any kind of technological advancement or anything, but for me it is. I'm gonna try and share these album covers. Let's see. I go like this, and I go to present. It's a lot of work to share, just to show a picture, but I'll do it anyways. There it is. So you got that. This is the new Azagal album. I'm not obviously going to try and pronounce it, but I always thought this band was pretty cool, and it looks like from what I've seen, people are kind of into it. They're Azagal is a hit and miss band for me. Like sometimes they're really really cool, and sometimes they're kind of just like, this is not doing anything for me. But for the most part, they're a pretty damn good band. Peter can't remember what came out this year. I mean, a lot of stuff, but I don't know. Hey, what's up, Eric? If you had to pick one, probably that. I can't pronounce that. Kostnateni. That sounds to me like some Finnish black metal. Let's check it out. Kosnatini. Let's see. What do we got? Oh my gosh. Of course. I can't spell it. Kosnatini. Maybe it's not metal. What is it, Eric? That must be like a prog album. That's my guess. That's a prog album. I'm like trying to look it up on the Metal Archives. It's not there. It sounds like a black metal album or a black metal band. Peter got the new Bastard Grave, but was that this year? Let's check it out. I don't know. I don't know if Bastard Grave had an album out this year. Cool band though. Oh, I was thinking of Bastard Priest. Oh my gosh, look at me. Yeah, no, you're right. That Bastard Grave from Sweden, Vortex of Disgust. Cool album cover. Pulverized Records, pretty good label. Wonder if this is one of those bands that has a bunch of Swedish guys in it that you know. No, actually, no. Okay. Bunch of dudes that you aren't aware of, so that's always cool. You actually get something like fresh. Crazy psychedelic microtonal black metal, Eric says. Okay. Well, I could go for some of that, maybe. Black metal like that usually is hit and miss for me, but sometimes it's really cool. Simon watching CM Punk's return last night. Yeah, CM Punk returning to the WWE. I wonder why. You think he just missed it, or maybe he missed the money? I don't know. I'm sure he has money. Gordon says the new Deatus album. Cool. I haven't heard that. Thanks for showing or bringing it to my attention. Lots of disappointment this year. Uh-oh. Tell me more. What are the albums that disappointed you? I would agree. I don't know if I feel disappointed yet, but I don't know if there's too much blowing me away. But I mean, last year there were two very strong albums, not really metal. Well, maybe sort of. You had the new Devin Townsend album last year, which was my number one, and then you had Marillion with a new album that was my number two. So I guess I haven't heard anything along the lines of that this year. But if we're just talking metal, which is kind of on a different level. Hey, what's up, man? No baloney. Good to see you in here, Simon. Unless I buy something from Bandcamp, I don't look at what year. Yeah, dude. I've had that problem. I've had that problem in previous years too, where I'm like, the years for me just blend together. I'll buy something. I'm like, is this from 2020, 2019? And I think it's a new release. Or yeah, I think I've gotten a little bit better at like remembering what years certain albums come out, but it's hard. I mean, 2022, 2023. I mean, it just blends together. CM Punk is such a sellout. Yeah, I'll admit I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, how long was he gone? He had to have been gone from wrestling for what, over a decade or something? I think like CM Punk, when he was a fairly new wrestler, I think that's right around the time that I kind of stopped watching wrestling. So like, I know CM Punk the name, but I haven't seen him wrestle all that many times. Maybe his first year or two. Eric says Kosnatani is actually one guy from the U.S. Interesting. Okay. One of those band names where I definitely wouldn't have guessed that he was an American, but incorporate some Turkish folk. Well, okay, that's very very specific psychedelic stuff into black metal. Some bands like that are really cool. I'll look into it. That could be up my alley, because like I'm enjoying this year, like going out of my comfort zone a little bit, I guess you could say. Fetal Justice from the UK, great new album. Okay. Peter, you haven't got the new Incantation album yet. I can say the new Incantation album is really good, but that's also a band that I've never been let down by. I've liked every Incantation album, but I think this one from this year might be a little stronger than the last two or three. Hard to say, really, with that band, but WWE is offering big money to all their main wrestlers, probably because so many are defecting to AEW. Oh, okay. I wonder if WWE reached out to CM Punk to get him to come back, or did he actually just want to do it? And it's one of those things too. I wonder how long he's going to stick around. Like, is he just going to do this for a year or two and then leave again? I would imagine, but I don't know. What do I know about wrestling anymore? All right, Sadis and Oceans, absolutely horrible shit. I've heard such hit and miss things about the Sadis album. First of all, I didn't know there was a new Sadis album until a week ago. My buddy John loves it. I haven't checked it out yet, but he's, I think, the only person I've heard really praise it. It seems like general reviews are pretty bad. Maybe not horrible, pretty bad though. Really pissed off as a fan of both bands. Marduk was okay. I'll agree with you on that. Since I have heard that, I didn't love. I mean, I love Marduk. I listened to the new album one time, and I'm like, it just kind of went in one ear out the other. Like, it didn't really do much for me. At least on one listen, I could like it more. Take, at least I used to pronounce Take. I think it's actually pronounced Toke. I learned that recently after mispronouncing it for years. At least was creative. Nothing really great so far. Yeah, dude. The new Imperium Decadence. I mean, I like that band a lot, but their new album is really good. On par with their last few, or maybe anything they've done. So let me pull that up. If you guys haven't heard this band, Imperium Decadence, they're really cool. They've been around since 2004, Germany. It's two guys, or at least it is nowadays. So they got a new album, Into Sorrow Evermore. For some reason, I haven't got it yet. I buy all their stuff. This band is so good. Check them out if you like. I don't know, atmospheric black metal. If I'm going to put a lazy description on there, I'll just call it atmospheric black metal. It's really good. James G. Warrior, what's up, man? Good to see you. Eric, yeah, no Steve DiGiorgio. I agree. His bass sound was like a pretty integral part to Sadis. You know, he's kind of like the Chris Squire of death metal, really. Dryad, Agriculture, Regana, Sprain. I've only heard of Dryad, but I've heard the name. I don't think I've ever actually heard them, and I haven't heard those other three. So sounds like black metal stuff for me to check out, I think. Simon's talking about CM Punk. Punk is crap now. I didn't know he was in the UFC. He got beat in the first 2 minutes of round one. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I didn't know he was in the UFC. That's got to give him credit for trying, though, and that's pretty brave, you know. Kanate, James says. You know, that's a name that I've known for years and years. I've never really heard Kanate, but they're one of those like cult bands, or they just have this dedicated fan base for sure. James also not a fan of the new Sadis. Yeah, man, I really wanted to hear. I'll still check it out, of course. You know, I'm sure you wouldn't want me to just not check it out because of the reviews, but this isn't making me exactly excited to hear it, which I already wasn't. I was just kind of like, I'll give it a listen. I might enjoy it. Who knows? James Ruim. Yeah, that Ruim album is really cool. That's an album I have heard and I own it, but I need to, I'm definitely going to give that more listens, because I think that's, for me, I think that's top 10 material so far. Peter's got the new reissue of Dismember's Death Metal. Cool. Yeah, I have Death Metal on CD. It's a good album. I don't think Dismember ever did a bad album. And Death Metal is one of those albums where you don't hear a lot of people talk about. Maybe it's not an album that'll knock your socks off, but if you're a fan of Dismember, it delivers, I think. New Bluedos Nord, because it looks similar. I listened to the new Bluedos Nord album, and I have like, I really like that band. I'm a pretty big fan, but I feel like the last like couple releases have started to become like it's starting to become predictable to me, which that's what I liked about Bluedos Nord before, is like I never knew what I was getting. And now, I listened to that new album and I was just like, oh, this just sounds to me exactly like the last album they did. Maybe that's not fair to say, though. Maybe I'm not paying close enough attention. Obviously, Bluedos Nord's like super dense, music. Like you really have to pay attention to it. You can't just put it on for like background noise. Scott, I have not heard the new Panopticon. I haven't heard a lot of Panopticon. I have the Kentucky album because everyone has that, and it's pretty cool. I do like it, and I listened to some of his older stuff. I don't think I've heard any Panopticon after Kentucky, so maybe I'll catch up. Simon, yeah, there is too much stuff coming out every day. I think you like Imperial Decadence though, so good on you for ordering that. Yeah, and you can't go wrong with whatever album is coming to your mailbox. I think you'll like it. Yeah, so I was just talking about Bludos Nord, so I'm with you on that one. The Lovecraft style recently. Hallucinogen, I wasn't crazy about either, but I think I might like that more if I revisit it. It was a lot more melodic, but now that like the last few albums have kind of blended together for me, I might be able to go back to Hallucinogen now and appreciate it a lot more. You say this is not bad per se, totally irrelevant. Yeah, it's like if you're gonna come back, it needs to be something special. You can't. I mean, you can't just come back and like just be kind of not doing anything new and just here's an album just because. Simon says the latest Goat Moon is pretty good. I haven't heard that band in a long time either. Eric likes the Ruin album. Biggest complaint about the Sadist is you can barely even hear the bass. Oh, yeah. That's a good... you need like a strong bass presence for Sadist, So that's... yeah. Sounds to me like they missed the mark. Peter gave up on Dismember after Indecent and Obscene. That was a great album. But I think, yeah, if you like Dismember, I think you can pick up any of their albums, and I think nothing is disappointing. I'm not a huge Dismember fan. I like the first two albums a lot, and but I like the rest of them. I've heard all their stuff, and it's all surprisingly good. Even the final album that they did was good. It was really good from what I remember, actually. So looks like people are liking the new Goat Moon album. It's almost like DiGiorgio and Who Needs Bass, right? Yeah. Let's see. Protector's Shedding of Skin, Casburger's Wyoming. Oh yeah, Protector's great, man. I know they've came back some years ago, and I think they're still active as well. Let's see. Protector from Germany, great kind of death thrash album or band. And Shedding of Skin, that was from 91. Yeah, that Shedding of Skin is great. So I haven't heard, oh man. So they got like 4 albums they've done since 2013. I haven't heard any of them. Here's their most recent from 2022. Cool. I'll have to catch up with Protector, of course. Yeah, I think Shedding of Skin might be their best album, but what do I know? And James, those 3 bands, Sprain, Agriculture, Ragana, are part of a label called Flenser. Yeah, I know of the label Flenser. I had heard some of their stuff like when they were a pretty new label, but not lately. Cool. Looks like I've been missing out on some stuff from Flenser. Yeah. Okay. Just one guy for Protector. I didn't know that. One of those things where like, they make a comeback with like one original member. I mean, clearly he's free to do what he wants, but I mean, it's the longtime fans are going to be pretty skeptical, right? Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. Oh yeah, new Vargrav album this year. I need to check that out. I like Vargrav a lot. Hands down the best album. Yeah. Plague Bearer, Eric. Yeah. I have a Plague Bearer EP from like 10 or more years ago, and that was really good. And I know they have an album out this year, but I haven't checked that out either. Yeah, it's like half the guys from Drawn and Quartered, maybe all of them. I can't remember. A little bit more of a black metal sound as to, compared to Drawn and Quartered's just standard death metal. Let's see. What else am I trying to hear this year? Sacrilegious Impalement. Let's see. Put this up here. I wish there's a faster way to do this. I don't think there is. So Sacrilegious Impalement, another Finnish band. I always thought they were pretty cool. And they have this album out this year. Hopefully I get to it. I might not. How about the new Imperial Crystalline Entombment? Let me type that in. If I don't spell it right, oh my gosh, come on. I don't know how to spell. Imperial. So this band, you guys might remember this. Black metal band from the US. They had an album out in 2004 and then nothing for almost 20 years. And now they have a new album. And I've listened to it. It's good. It's like exactly what you would expect. Like it's like a direct follow-up to their debut. If I remember correctly too, this band is like former members of like was it like Monstrosity or something like that? Yeah, like ex-Monstrosity guys. For the longest time, they were like one of those bands where no one knew, like they tried to keep their identity secret. It's pretty good. Melodic black metal, very like mid-90s Swedish style black metal. If you like that kind of stuff, it's really good. I don't know if it's top 10 good. For someone, I'm sure it is, though. Damage Incorporated. How's it going? Simon, yeah, you thought the Ice was a reissue. Probably because I think the album cover is almost the same. I mean, look at that. I think it's almost the same as what their first album looked like. Not that it's almost the same album cover, which is cool. I think they're just like, they just wanted to do a direct continuation, and it sounds like it, and it looks like it. So I can see why you would think that. And yes, there is a new Hell Witch. I've heard it's good. I've from the few people that I've heard mention it, seems like they're saying great things. Yeah, Annihilation Intercension from Listenable Records. Let's see. Here's a band that I think I at least wrote this down. So apparently I wanted to check it out, but I don't remember what it is. Oh, Daimonium. They didn't have a new album. That's not the band I was trying to find. That's an old black metal band from France. I don't know. Maybe I completely spelled it wrong. Daimonian. Oh, come on. Try that. There we go. Yeah, I've heard good things about this band. Japanese, kind of death black. First of all, I really like the album covers. I mean, that's like obviously very mid-90s black metal looking. Something like Necrolord style cover art. So I saw that and I was like, well, I might have to check that out. And then I saw some people talk about this band, I think in the Metal Archives forum or something like that. I haven't heard a single note of it yet. I'm going to do a top 10 favorite albums live stream next Saturday. Cool. I'll check that out, man. Like to see what you have on there. Yeah, and Eric, I thought you said the new Hell Witch was pretty good. Wyoming. You're going to go see Suffocation Incantation tomorrow night. I was going to go see that tour and I forgot. There's also like 2 other bands on that bill. I can't, I think, what's that? That younger death metal band that's pretty good. I can't remember what they're called, but there's 2 other bands on that bill, at least what I saw. Skeletal Remains. I think that's a band I'm thinking of. Pretty sure Skeletal Remains are on this Suffocation Incantation tour. So pretty killer. Peter got the new Obituary album. Honestly, from what I heard, I was pretty impressed. I thought it was way better than at least the last album, maybe the last few. Kind of a return to form in a way. Not that Obituary ever really strayed far from their formula. New Aeternus album? Eric? I don't have to look into that. Am I really that out of touch? I did not know there was an Aeternus album. Let's see. Yeah. I think I heard their 2018 album, but I don't really remember it. Agonia Records, Philosopher. I do like Aeternus. Old Aeternus is so good. It's like ridiculously good, in my opinion. Yeah, Simon, I should have done this on Sunday. Maybe I'll stick to doing these on Sunday because that's what I've always done on all my others. So maybe next time I'll do Sundays. I'm going to do another stream probably in the next couple weeks. Getting back to movies, talking about movies. Skeletal Remains and Stabbing, yeah, on that tour. I definitely haven't heard Stabbing, but Skeletal Remains, pretty good, I gotta say. Okay, next. I definitely have to hear the new Profanatica, because one of my favorite bands. Another band that always delivers. I've their current stuff has been amazing, honestly, I think. Oh yeah, pretty crazy cover art. This came out on September 22nd. I haven't heard really anyone talk about this album, but look at that cover. It's Profanatica cover. What would you expect? Good artwork, I'd say. There's the new Desecracy album. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, of course. Desecracy? Something like that. Finnish death metal, members of, I think, Sluggothor, right? I thought that. Or at least one guy from Sluggothor. But anyways, pretty good death metal band from what I remember. They got an album out on Extreme Music from September. I would like to at least check that one out. And let's see. New Fabricant album. I own it and still haven't listened. I would recommend, well, I can't recommend it, but going off their demo that came out years ago was awesome. So this Fabricant full length should be really good. They were this cool US death metal band. They were like really young dudes when they they put out their demo in 2010. I thought it was a killer demo. And then they dropped off the face of the earth, came back 13 years later with an album, and I've heard it's good. It's kind of death metal along the more like experimental side of things, like weird. I just like to call it weird death metal. That kind of just covers it. Cool, Gordon. Thanks for dropping in. Peter, yeah, it can be a little overwhelming trying to keep track of new releases. It's almost like headache inducing for me, but ooh, yeah, Eric, new Varathron yesterday. Haven't heard that. I didn't know it was out yet, but I definitely want to hear it. Varathron are one of those old Greek black metal bands that are still really awesome. Like their last album I thought it was great. Patriarchs of Evil from 2018. I thought it was awesome. And they got a new album called The Crimson Temple on Agonia Records. Definitely got to check that out. I mean, or just buy it. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll check that stream out. I like to see what you I like to see your top 10. Oh, Eric, you've heard that Fabricants album? Cool. Technical, but not over the top. I'm kind of okay with that. I've been enjoying some like more technical death metal, but you can't go too far off the rails. But it just depends. Death Worship. I have not heard Death Worship, or maybe I have. Let me look it up. It actually does sound familiar. If that's the Canadian band, I think it is. Okay. Yeah. Death Worship are cool. Like a blasphemy kind of throwback type band. I think that's the one you're talking about. I could be wrong. Simon, you got the first Catacomb album. Yeah, that's another thing I want to hear because I really like that old Catacomb stuff from like mid '90s French death metal. Yeah, that's a band I never expected to make a comeback. Peter's got His Majesty at the Swamp. Yeah, Varathron. That's my favorite Varathron album. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that's their best album, but I don't know. That's hard to say for sure. Couple members from Blasphemy. Yeah, totally. I never did get any of that Death Worship stuff. I'm totally wanting to. And Eric, yeah, Catacomb is back apparently. They have an album out, anyways. I don't know if they're going to stay active or not, but it's cool. It's really cool to see bands come back, especially if they didn't really ever have a whole lot of material to begin with. There's a new Cruel Force album, German black thrash, pretty cool. I'll check that out. There's a new Hex Vessel album, not metal at all. Hex Vessel, you got like a dude from the guy from Dodheim's Guard. It's more like dark folky stuff. I don't know what you would call Hex Vessel. Dark psychedelic-y folky rock. I like it. Some of their stuff, or at least from what I've heard, is just kind of amazing. I kind of want to hear the KK's Priest album, but I mean, I don't know. That last album was just kind of generic. Eric, yeah, talking about the Maze of Kadath Catacomb, the French one. Yep, you are on the right path. Peter says Cruel Force sounds different from the different. Interesting. That's actually kind of cool because Cruel Force are already one of those bands that they're really good at what they do, but they're playing a type of music that's very unoriginal. So if they sound a little different on their new album, I'd actually be okay with that. Let's see. So Cruel Force, Hex Vessel, KK's Priest, and I know, of course, everyone talks about Moonlight Sorcery, which fair enough, pretty cool band. I wasn't really on board at first, but I've checked out some of the new album, and actually, I think it's amazing. I think this is probably the best thing they've done, in my opinion. Horned Lord of the Thorn Castle on Avant-Garde Music. I've only heard a little bit of this, but it's kind of blowing me away, to be honest. I know this band's kind of hyped right now, but I think that I think this is top 10 material for just about anybody. Snore is talking about upcoming Thorns record, but he's done that before. He has done that before. I'd like to hear some new Thorns. I love that Thorns album from a million years ago. It's fantastic. That's one of the best black metal things to come out of Norway, I would say. Peter would have bought the new Carnation, but the new stuff sounds really bad. Oh man, I didn't know that. I actually recently picked up, I think, the third Carnation album, but I haven't heard it at all yet. I liked their first one pretty good. Maybe I didn't love it, but I thought it was pretty cool. Eric, speaking of vessels, I don't think I've heard Flesh Vessel. Death metal with a lot of jazz and classical elements. That That is an interesting concept right there. I'll check it out. See you, Simon. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, that Moonlight Sorcery album was really cool. I gotta finish it. Let's see. How about there's a new Monty album. Definitely got to hear this one. So this band it was former members of Mainz, which they had one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best, Norwegian black metal albums. And they came back some years ago, which is cool because Mainz is pretty much, they're not black. They haven't been black metal for a long time. So for some of those guys to spin off and do Monty is cool because, I mean, this is like kind of a continuation to that Mainz black metal sound. Their 2013 album I thought was really, really good. Didn't hear their 2018 album. Missed that. But they got a new one. And it's guaranteed to be good. Better start making a list. I have a list. That's what I'm going off right now. And it's way more stuff than I can listen to in 1 month's time. Peter really out of the loop with black metal right now. That's okay. I mean, there's a million albums that come out every year on every single genre. It's kind of overwhelming, I gotta say. And I've said that already a few times, but it's true. And then there's a new Slitter album, Irish black metal. I always thought they were pretty cool, but yet another band that I kind of dropped off with. But I would like to hear. I would like to hear this. Came out on De Beamer Morty, which is an awesome label. If you like black metal, you know that label. French label, amazing. Everything they've done that I've heard has been awesome. No one's perfect. A lot of people talking about the new Sulphur Aeon, which is a band that I've never really loved, but their new album is really good. I'll admit that. Their last few have been good, but not really what I was, in the mood for. But yeah, this new album, it's awesome. I think you're going to see this on a lot of top 10 lists. A lot. I'm almost positive of that. New Wayfarer is great. I've heard that. I've heard a lot of good things about the new Wayfarer album. You find at least 2 new black metal bands a week. Dude, I don't doubt you at all. and that's you probably not even digging super deep, That's just goes to show. Discovered Acherontas last year, hope for a new album. Dude, Acherontas are great. They had an album out recently, maybe last year. Surprise, surprise, I haven't heard it. But let's see. Yeah, they had an album out last year. Their 2020 album was really good, just super dense black metal. A lot going on, but got super well written, kind of experimental, kind of ritualistic, I guess you could say, but pretty amazing. Highly recommend that band. Peter, the new Shooter album sounded good. Yeah, the new Shooter album is actually really good. I mean, it's I guess you could say what you would expect from Shooter, but it's also what you would want from Shooter. They're a band that they just don't stray from their core sound, and that's totally okay with me. But for it being an album that's just kind of more of the same, it's really strong. That new Shooter album is very strong. Yeah, nothing but good things to say about it. Legion Helvete, yeah. Some people didn't like that Legion Helvete album. I thought it was awesome, and some people didn't like their last one. I'm not sure how that works. Because again, I don't think they've strayed too far from their core sound really ever. Maybe they're not as raw and as primitive as they were in the mid '90s, but I think they're a better band now. Necropole, good black metal. Yep, they are from France, and they are good. Let's see. There's a new Mortuary Drape, which obviously, if you're an old black metal fan, that's something you can't miss. I think Mortuary Drape have been pretty strong later in their career. New album Black Mirror on Peaceville Records. That is a must hear for me. Amazing. I'm a I'm a Mortuary Drape fanboy. I'm hitting the coffee pretty hard, guys. I got to use the restroom real quick. So talk amongst each other. I'll be right back. Give me like 1 minute. Oh boy. Okay, I'm back. So I went to get up and my like one of my left foot was totally asleep because I'm like sitting on it, and I think I like twisted my ankle. It fucking hurts. All right, I'll be okay, I think. Oh my god. Leave it to me to injure myself just by stepping down for a second. Eric, yeah, new Mortuary Drape. I've heard really good things. I'm gonna try to order that one. Peter, only remember All the Witches Dance from back in the day. You didn't like that? Oh, it's a great album. If you didn't like that, though, I mean, you might not like any other Mortuary Drape albums. Yeah, if you've never heard Mortuary Drape, definitely like start with their first album, just work your way up. And they are a great band, you know, whether or not they're everyone's cup of tea. So got that. What else do we have? Hoping I'm not overwhelming anyone. I know it's like I find this thing kind of overwhelming, but it's still a fun thing to do, to try and keep up with all the new albums. There is a new Phobocosm album. Eric, this is probably up your alley if you haven't heard it. Death metal from Canada, your country. Montreal, though. Yeah, really cool band, Dark Descent Records. They're kind of it's kind of technical death metal, more like dissonant, I guess you could say, dissonant or dissonant death metal. Really good. There's a new Azagrom album. Dutch Azagrom Dutch female led black metal. They're absolutely killer. New album out. Haven't heard it. As well as the new Malocarpatan album. This is you probably know this band from Slovakia. They got a lot of talk for their last like 3 albums, and then I haven't heard anyone talk about this new one. Invictus Productions. Pretty killer. Yeah, has anyone heard the new Malocarpatan? Haven't seen a lot of talk about it. They're a cool band, kind of unique sounding, at least to me. Black metal, like with a lot of, you know, like heavy metal touches. So I kind of get vibes of like I don't know, actually. Kind of Master's Hammer a little bit. Maybe not as weird as Master's Hammer. There's a new Heavy Load album. Wouldn't mind hearing that. Cult Swedish, traditional heavy metal band from the early 80s. Oh, wow. Apparently they started in the late 70s. Holy shit. I didn't know that at all. Wow. I didn't know they were that old. I'd heard the 80s stuff from Heavy Load, but they got an album out this year, which is their first album in 40 years. Now talk about a comeback. 40 years later, you come back with an album. That's impressive. And it is 3 original members, 3 out of 4. You got to admit that's a pretty good, yeah, you don't see that every day. 3 out of 4 original members, first album in 40 years. I don't know. I definitely would like to check that out. Any of you guys like Impiety? I love Impiety. I like all Impiety stuff. I probably like their early stuff more, but I mean, they're incredibly consistent. I don't think there's a bad Impiety album, but like Skull Fucking Armageddon, amazing album. That's my favorite. Eric's got Cirith Ungol. Yep, that's another one on my list to check out. Danova and Helm's Deep. Now those two I haven't heard. Peter's got the new Ascended Dead album. Was really impressed with the debut. Yeah, I actually listened to that Ascended Dead album the other day. It's really good. I don't know if I liked it as much as the first one. It's really savage. It's like as savage as death metal gets before turning into like an all-out war metal album. It's just so brutal and so intense, and it's like a steamroller. Yeah, it was good, but like I said, I don't know if I liked it as much as the first one. Azagram reminds you of Darken Nocturne Slaughter Cult. I could see that, definitely. I haven't heard all their stuff. Their last album though was like surprisingly good, so I have no doubt that this new album is good too. And Eric likes the new Heavy Load album. I mean, just the fact that they made it, I mean, it's just impressive. Yeah, so Cirith Ungol and Sunopfer, if I'm pronouncing that right, this French black metal band, they had a really good debut back in 2010, or they had an EP back in 2007 that was amazing. So they've got a new album this year, and it's got to be good. Debimer Morty again, cool cover art. Yeah, this is just some awesome French black metal. If you like atmospheric black metal, yet again, like it's should do something for you. And Nocte Abducta, German black metal. I want to hear their new album. They've been super steady, but I haven't. I've only heard their like really early, like late 90s, early 2000s stuff. But they have albums out. They've been cranking them out, and I haven't heard anything they've done for a long time. But they've got an album this year. It's supposed to be like very progressive, type black metal. All right, what's next? A lot of people are talking about the Worm Dream Unending split. So that one's going to get a lot of attention this year, and I'm completely on board. Yeah, I actually can't wait. I haven't heard it yet. It's not available for. Okay, no, I'm wrong. Came out November 24th, so it is available now. But yeah, the Worm Dream Unending split. This, I mean, maybe I'm hyping it up in my mind, but I think this is top 10. If you don't mind putting splits on your top 10, which I don't, I think there's a good chance this will make it, but I haven't heard it yet. There's a new Fortid album. Let's see, Fortid from Iceland. Really, really love their debut. It's, in my opinion, super good. And so they got this album on Lupus Lounge. This is so Four did play like, at least the last time I heard them. I don't know if they've changed their style, but they were like kind of more along the lines of early Enslaved, early to like mid era Enslaved. And some stuff that I've shown here before, like the new Primordial album, I'm hoping that makes my top 10 because they're like one of my favorite bands. But still need more listens. The new Thanta Faxith album is really good. You guys have probably heard that. Black metal out of Canada again. Crazy, crazy, dissonant black metal. If you like Deathspell Omega, should be right up your alley. Hive Mind Narcosis, very, very cool. Definitely top 10 worthy material as well. I have not heard Umbriel. Is that a Nocte Abducta album? Or is that a band? Because it sounds familiar either way. Holy shit. Zizma has a new album? Pretty much just a hard rock album. Yeah, okay. I mean, that makes sense. Last I checked on Zizma, yeah, they're just like a rock band now. You know, it's cool. I have heard, and this is like very rare, but I've heard Zizma when they play live. So they haven't been a death metal band for what, a long, long time. But I heard when they play live, they will still play their death metal stuff, which you know how it goes. I don't think any other band does that. Like usually when bands like this change their style, you know, they don't really want to play the old stuff live anymore. And I've heard that they do, and that's just crazy to me. Casburgers, Wyoming. How do you pronounce Magua? So that band is pronounced Magua. So like, I can't remember if it's Polish or they're a Polish band, but it's pronounced Magua. So like it's pronounced like MGWA. Oddly enough, or believe it or not, I know it doesn't sound right, but I've seen that confirmed. So it's Magua. Eric, yeah, I've heard the Enslaved album from this year. That's another thing that I listened to it when it came out earlier this year, and I haven't heard it since. So I need to. They're one of my favorite bands, so I need to cram and listen to that a bunch of times soon. See if it makes my top 10. But yeah, I love Enslaved. All right, what else? There's more. There's more. Let's see. I'll try to just go with stuff that I haven't talked about ever on this channel. There's a new Epheles album. If you haven't heard this band, French black metal, really, really good. They're more of like an early 2000s band, but they've been actually sort of consistent, at least up until 2011. But they had this album out this year, Undrakar. It's really good. This is, I guess you could call this, I don't know, straightforward black metal, but they just kind of have their own sound. There's some keyboards in there, but it's not like symphonic. Something about this band is just, they're amazing to me. I listened to the new Dodheim's Guard the other day. Thought it was good. Thought it was really good. Very progressive. Very progressive. If you don't like progressive metal, you're probably not going to like this album. But it's honestly, I thought it was amazing. Peaceful Records. I didn't know it's almost 70 minutes long. I didn't realize that. So I must have liked it because it did not seem like a 70-minute album. Eric, I'm sure you've heard Dodheim's Guard. If you haven't, definitely a band for you. Yeah, going back to Enslaved. Yeah, that new album, it didn't quite grab me either, but I think I'll like it more. Give it a couple more listens. We'll see where it goes. And Peter, I have not heard the Spectral Voice Undergang split, but I like both those bands, so that's something worth checking out. Frost is the Last Good album. Oh, Peter, you gotta, I don't know, man. Eld and Blodhem. I think those are incredible albums from Enslaved. Give them another shot. Give them a chance. Maybe it's been a long time since you've heard them, but they're great. Never got into Dodheim's Guard. Yeah, I mean everyone likes the first like 2 Dodheim's Guard albums. You got to be pretty adventurous to get into anything beyond that, but I've liked everything that they've done. But yeah, that new album is crazy. First Dodheim's Guard you've heard, I figured you'd like it. You can work your way back if you want, and like the last album is kind of similar to this, but everything before it is very. They never really repeat themselves, so they're one of those bands. You kind of never really know what you're getting, which I like. Let's see. The new Austere album I thought was pretty damn good. This is one of my favorite Australian bands. I love depressive black metal. I know it's not for everybody, but I think their first 2 albums are masterpieces, and this new album, only listened once, but I thought it was pretty good. Maybe not as good as the early stuff, but I mean, come on. I'm not gonna. They didn't have an album out for 14 years, so giving them a little bit of credit there. Bit too progressive. Yeah, the new Dodheim's Guard is very progressive. It's if they'll be the next Ulver, I'm out. Who knows? I mean, they're still. I guess I could see that happening. They definitely like their electronics, but I mean, there's still some black metal to be found on the new album, but I guess not a ton. It's barely a black metal album, I would say. Any Stargazer fans? Yeah, Stargazer are great. Did they have something out this year too? Jesus, this is getting out. This is spiraling out of control. Yeah, Stargazer, man, one of the most underrated bands from Australia, I would say. So they had an EP out this year. Okay, that's a must. That's a must hear. Cool. Nuclear War Now. All right, where are we now? Let's see, the Void Ceremony album was great. I'll pull that up. Because I can't remember. Okay, so yeah, Void Ceremony, they did have an album in 2020. Eric, you might like this too. Progressive death metal. Really, really good. This album right here. This is probably another top 10 contender. I'm going to be listening more to this one. I was pretty blown away. Never heard that. Sounds like European power metal. No, Stargazer are a like a death black metal. I don't know, Black Death, Death Black, something like that. Very like, I'd say technical, but not in a traditional sense. It's like black death metal made by very, very good musicians. I don't know if I'd call it progressive or technical necessarily, but I guess you could use those words. Hard band to describe because they just have such an like, they have their own sound and their own style. Eric, you like the Void? Okay, yeah. I figured that'd be something you'd probably be into. Definitely give it another listen. I'm going to. And if it's power metal, it's got to be bad. Nope, no power metal. No power metal with Stargazer. Not even close. I like some power metal, but I got to draw the line somewhere. Asphodelis. Here's a pretty cool album. This doom death band from Finland. I'd check this out. This gives me vibes of like early, kind of the doom death stuff from Amorphous, like Tales from a Thousand Lakes and early Catatonia. And Peter, I know you're a big Catatonia fan, so you might like this band. Very good album. Yeah, Peter, I think that'd be up your alley. Let's see what's next. Wyvern. I'll pull this one up. I wasn't blown away by this, but I thought it was pretty good. This Dutch kind of symphonic type black metal Wyvern. Pretty cool. If you like black metal with a shitload of keyboards, you might like this, which I do. I do like I like keyboards in my black metal. Doesn't have to be an all black metal, of course, but I like it. Speaking of power metal, I liked the new Twilight Force album. Now this is power metal that is like super happy, super upbeat, all just like fast double bass type stuff. Very anthemic, very upbeat, very positive sounding. I liked this album quite a bit. I don't listen to a ton of power metal anymore, like I kind of used to, but this album was kind of like a kind of reminded me of the early 2000s, European power metal, and I really enjoyed it for that reason. And how about this band? I don't know how to pronounce it. Natahimmel. This is Norwegian black metal. They had members of In the Woods, which In the Woods, hands down, one of the best Norwegian black metal bands. Their early stuff was incredible. So they have an album out this year. It's kind of symphonic. Again, black metal with quite a bit of keyboards, quite a bit of clean vocals, but pretty good. I'm seeing some people talk about it. Maybe a top 10 contender. First Solitude Aeternus. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Some of the best doom metal. Yeah, Peter, definitely check out Asphodelis. You might like it. It at least kind of lines up with your personal tastes a little bit, as far as I know. Eric's recommending Lost Harvest. They're very influenced by The Chasm. Okay. How can you not like The Chasm? I mean, if that doesn't get people to check it out, I don't know what would. Sacred Outcry. That's funny, Eric, you mentioned that. Sacred Outcry was one of the few power metal albums I listened to this year. Thought it was really good too. Yeah, I'm with you on that. New Incantation. We talked about that. Very good. Very good. Dead and Dripping. Another great death metal, weird, kind of weird, Demolish type death metal band. Let's see, what else? Devour. I know somebody brought up Impiety earlier. So this is like a spin-off, like an Impiety spin-off. Pretty good, though. Let's see. Singapore. Not a lot of talk on this band, Devour Or. This is their debut full length. Oh, this is from last year. Never mind. Well, check it out anyways. If you like Impiety, this is a cool band. I'm going to cross that off my list though because it's 2022. I liked the Devangelic album. Not a big brutal death metal guy, but I thought this was pretty good. Brutal death metal out of Italy with like some touches of like Nile. They have like that Middle Eastern, kind of sound. Pretty cool, actually. I was kind of pleasantly surprised by that one, Devangelic. All right, what else? And there's a bunch of stuff I listened to earlier this year that I'm trying to revisit because it's like I want to like it more, I guess. New Camelot album. Camelot are one of my favorite power metal bands. While we're on the power metal topic. But I love Camelot. They haven't really been good for a long time. But when it comes to power metal, kind of one of the best. But yeah, they have sucked for a while. Let's see. Verminous Serpent, another one I've been meaning to check out, solely because Alan Averill from Primordial sings for this band. And there's some other Irish guys that have been in cool bands. So yeah, Irish kind of death black metal. Members of Malthusian, which are cool. Members of Malthusian and Slitter and Mercure. So I should have already checked this one out, but I haven't yet. You like the new End Style album, I guess. I haven't heard. I didn't know End Style were still together. German black metal, I think, right? Yes. Okay. Damn. I did not know they had a new album. Van Records. Great record label. Cool album cover. I'll look into that. Yeah, End Style. I always liked End Style. They're kind of one of those bands that takes a lot of shit because they're kind of one of those like Marduk type bands where they, maybe they don't mix it up too much and they're kind of just straightforward, blasting black metal, but they're great at what they do. Eric's bringing up the Rune Magic album from this year. Holy shit. I haven't heard that. Rune Magic are great. Damn, how did that one get past me? Well, I guess I'm not surprised, but yeah, Swedish doom death metal. They're total legends. Maybe I knew they had a new album out, but either way, if I did, I forgot. Pretty cool cover art there. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. My opinion, one of the best doom death bands, especially from Sweden. It's funny, they formed in 1990. Yeah, I never really thought of them as a 90s band because they didn't put out albums until the end of the 90s, but so it took them 10 years or 8 years to make a full length. Nothing wrong with that though. Yeah, man, Chasm are great. One of the best and one of the most unique death metal bands too. You can't deny that. End Style can be very good live. I've never had a chance to see them live. I would like to. Peter, you like the Incantation album Daniel Corchado is on? Yeah, it's great. What's that album called? But yeah, no, it's not Blasphemy. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, you're right, dude. Daniel killed it on that album. But then I'm an Incantation fanboy. Like I said earlier, I've never felt let down by them, and that's saying a lot. I think I think their new album is incredibly strong. Oh, I have not heard the Phlebotomized album. What do you think about that? Let's check it out. Phlebotomized are a cool band. Are they still playing like the crazy, weird, experimental death metal? Pretty cool cover art, actually. I dig it. That's a nice throwback cover art. Looks very 90s in a good way. Oh yeah, Diabolic Conquest. There we go. Wait, Diabolical Conquest. Yeah, no, it's a great album. It's one of those Incantation albums that I think is appreciated much more nowadays. Not that it wasn't appreciated, but I feel like a lot of people are talking about it lately, which is a good thing. Not lately, but over the last 5 years or more. Prog death, mellow death greatness. Cool. I'll admit, some of the Phlebotomized stuff kind of some of their earlier albums were very they're very strange. So it took me a while to get into, like Sky Contact. cool album, but yeah, it took me a bit to get into. I really like their debut. Immense Intense Suspense. This is a Finnish classic. But we're talking about their newest album. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out for sure. All right, what do I got left? What do I got left on my list? And then a bunch of stuff that I've talked about before. Don't know if it's gonna make my top 10 yet, but maybe. We got stuff like I really like the new Yes album. Now I know nobody here is probably into Yes except for Eric, but Eric, have you heard that new Yes album? I really liked it actually. That might make my top 10, believe it or not. I don't think I've heard a thrash album this year, minus like Overkill, which I thought was pretty strong. Yeah, I really like the new Overkill album actually, which I like it more than the last 2 or 3. But yeah, I haven't heard a lot of thrash this year at all. I like the new Metal Church album. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'm just reminding myself now. I need to get listening to all this stuff because the end of the year is coming. I think most albums on my end of year list are going to be it's going to be stuff that came out earlier in the year because I've really slacked the last 6 months. Haven't heard any Yes after 90125. It's been all hit and miss since then, but I don't know. They've had some really good stuff in the last 40 years, and they've had some really lame stuff too. But yeah, I really like the new Yes album. To me, it almost doesn't really sound like Yes. It almost sounds like it's just kind of a different band. It's because of all the lineup changes, but it totally works. Peter, Owner of a Lonely Heart. That's the only song I know. That's Yes. That's a great song. I love Owner of a Lonely Heart. Great, like 80s. I don't know, what would you call it? 80s pop. It's not progressive or anything really, but I think it's a great song. Favorite Yes album after 90125 would probably be let's see. Let me pull up their discography real quick. I don't want to miss anything. They have had some good albums since then, though. Let's see. Because I actually like 90125 quite a bit. I like Big Generator. A lot of people don't, though. So maybe that's not my favorite. Oh, I like Talk from 1994. I think is pretty good. And some of their 90s stuff, or a lot of their 90s stuff, I haven't heard. Let's see. Fly From Here from 2011 is really good. And The Quest from 2021 is okay. It's pretty good. I think Mirror to the Sky, their newest one, is quite a bit better than The Quest. But I would say check out Fly From Here from 2011. I'd say check that out, and I'd say check out Talk from 1994. They might not blow you away, because I mean it's hard to compare stuff to early Yes, but I don't know. I like those 2 albums. I'm gonna have to take some notes. I'm trying not to add too much stuff, that I need to listen to this month, but I might just stop. I might just stop with what I have and try to crank this out. So I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I'm definitely gonna do a top 10, but I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a challenge. I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off. But it's a challenge for me every year. I feel like some people are so good at it. I've seen people do like a top 50. I don't know. Thing is, for me, is like I don't want to devote my entire year to listening to only new releases, because I feel like you'd almost have to do that to try and hear as many new albums as possible. You got to neglect all the old stuff, and I don't want to do that. I like listening to old stuff still. Like, I don't want to only be listening to new releases. But I think that about covers it. I only just named about 50 albums, half of them that I haven't heard. But thanks for your guys' input. Some of you guys put up some stuff that I definitely have to check out because I can't. Some of these that I can't miss. And I haven't heard the new album from this band, The Glorious Dead. Amazing U.S. death metal. Most of you guys are probably familiar with them. It's Marty's band, Marty Worm, and it's killer death metal. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Appreciate you guys dropping in though and giving me some suggestions. I think I'll get to work on my. I don't think my if I do a top 10, well, I'm gonna do a top 10. I don't think it's gonna be out until like probably like February. I don't think I'm gonna be able to listen to these like 30 albums this month. I don't think it's possible, but we'll see. I do want some 2023 prog stuff. Thank you, Eric. I have not heard a lot of prog this year. I haven't heard a lot of modern prog in general, so that's one of those things I'm gonna have to go down that path and like listen to like prog after like 1980 or something. I haven't heard a lot. So Eric, you like the new Glorious Dead? Their previous album was awesome. So I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be a great album. Yeah, man, send me a list. Send me a list of like 10 albums or something. So and I'll try to listen to them. But anyways, I hope you guys have a good weekend. What is this stream? Maybe I'm gonna try to go find the stream that Simon went to. Simon and Gordon. It's gotta be good. Maybe I'll see you guys over there. Cheers.